Welcome to a new Team CGC 9.8 video. So today it's a new CGC 9.8 market update and a lot of really interesting prices to talk about, I think. Yeah, it seems like the comic book market's still pretty hot. And in the 9.8 here, we'll get into some record prices I was seeing for some issues. But 22 9.8s to talk about. All the prices will be in US dollars, and I'll have a list in the description below with the prices if you want to have a quick look. But okay, first one up here on the market update, I got a Star Wars Clone Wars #1 in the CGC 9.8. Yeah, a huge modern key. First appearance of Ahsoka Tano. It was nice to see this one sell in an auction. So pretty good idea here of what the fair value is right now, I think. Star Wars books being pretty hot, but this one sold for $2,175. It was, yeah, in an auction on eBay. I think, if you want this book, this is an expensive one. It's, first Ahsoka Tano. There's that variant out there that's probably getting on like double the price, I think, to what this one is. It's already so expensive, but these are, really wanted Star Wars books. I really like this first print cover. This would probably be the one I would want if I ended up grabbing this book. And as much as it is, $2,175 is a decent deal, I think, right now. I've saw them go a little higher for this one, just with the Star Wars hype here in the last few months. Okay, next one here. A Spawn #1 in the newsstand. Saw this one sell. So a few people had been sending me this one on the team. It was on eBay, and it sold for, it was $1,299. And someone on the team had let me know they have a GPA subscription, and apparently that one was a 1,200 deal. Maybe the seller maybe sent an offer to the buyer. Yeah, sometimes you can do that if people are watching the item. So maybe that's what happened. 1,200 though for Spawn #1 in the newsstand. There was that auction I've been pointing out that ended for about $700 a month or two ago, and I'm like, oh, that's a great deal if you can get this one for $700 all day, Spawn #1. But if they're going to be 1,200, that seems quite expensive. That's more than the 1,090 that the previous high that I thought. So this is kind of one of the records I was talking about. So. Interesting to see where that one goes. I would still aim for under $1,000 for Spawn #1 newsstand. Okay, so the big sale I think that a lot of people are talking about. It's the Ultmate Fallout #4 Djurdjevic variants that sold in the CGC 9.8. So I'm pretty sure one had sold. I think two of these might be the same one possibly, but one sold for $14,400. I was seeing. Maybe this is the same one. I believe it was an eBay sale of $14,999.95. Sometimes eBay's not super transparent on the completed listings, and maybe that was that deal for the 14.4. Well, I could be wrong. Maybe three had sold here because I saw another one had sold for $13,000. So yeah, this book really had been under 10,000. It kind of heated up pushing up right to 10,000 where it was 8 to 9,000, let's call it like 4 to 6 months ago in the CGC 9.8. This being the more rare variant of first appearance of Miles Morales. So now it's well over 10,000, looks like a bunch of sales here, so it's going to be interesting to see, but that is an all-time record for that book. Okay, next one here, someone on the team had sent me this sale, Batman Adventures #12. Yeah, the first appearance of Harley Quinn in comic books, a really rare one in the CGC 9.8 too. Definitely Batman Adventures #12, one of the biggest 9.8s to buy in the 90s. It sold for $2,627.77. So I'm getting on to making the budget video for, I think it's 1,500 to 2,000 in the next few videos here. And I was maybe going to put this one on it, but $2,627, this one looking to probably be over 2,000. And it's a really rare 9.8. This is for a 90s book. It's one of those like Fox Kids comics, similar to the Batman Beyond #1, where I don't think people were taking good care of them, probably just throwing them to kids to kind of rip up and color on and stuff like that. So, and it shows that on the census. It's a rare one in the 9.8. Batman Adventures #12, direct edition, going for $2,627.77. So a newsstand in this one's gonna be over 3,000 probably if you take that price. Although I do think that's a bit of an overpay. Hopefully like, 2,100, 2,200 I think is still doable. Let's call it closer to 2,000 in Batman Adventures 12 CGC 9.8 white pages. So Batman Beyond #1, another someone on the team had sent me this one too, which is great. The team kind of keeping me in the loop. Batman Beyond #1 sold for $2,199.99. I had briefly mentioned in the last video, I think it was, that someone had let me know a Batman Beyond sold for over $2,000, but I couldn't remember the exact price. But yeah, that was it, $2,199, so $2,200. The Batman Beyond #1, yeah, wow, that book's come a long way, but it's such a cool one, and there's not a lot of them, so I can almost understand it. Okay, next one here, a Star Wars book. We'll get into a couple Star Wars ones here that are really hot. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic #9. Yeah, first appearance of Revan here. Love this cover, super collectible, this one. So saw it go in an auction just in the last couple days here, which was nice to see. With Star Wars books being hot, though, these are kind of susceptible to maybe some bidding wars. But one went for $1,375 in an auction. A couple others selling. One was $1,400, another for $1,488. So this is one where I said, around $1,000. I don't know if I want to pay that much for this type of book, but clearly the trend is going up in this one, and it is really collectible, great covers. So it's a Dark Horse Star Wars book, so they're going to be tough to find in the 9.8, and certainly if Revan ever gets in, a big MCU project, show, movie, or whatever it is, this one's probably going higher. So yeah, it's cool to see a bunch of prices in that one though. Okay, next one here though, it's a Star Wars #1 I saw sell in the CGC 9.8. This was from someone on the team on Instagram, I think, had shared this one. And it was a heritage auction, apparently. Star Wars #1, just like this one, exactly the same type. Not the more rare, like, price variant, which are impossible to find in the 9.8, but just the normal version of Star Wars #1 from 1977, CGC 9.8 white pages, sold for $4,560. That's pretty crazy. Yeah, this one, about a year and a half ago, I paid $925, I think it was, right around there. So $4,560 for this. I think you want to, it's a book to want, absolutely. But now with Star Wars heating up so much and Mandalorian's like the thing, I don't think you want to get out there and pay $4,500 for one. You want to be patient on this one. There's quite a few of them in the 9.8. This isn't a really rare 9.8 for a 1977 book. So hopefully, definitely under 4,000 with this one. Be patient, I would say. Okay, next one, Star Wars book that's really hot and awesome. Darth Vader #3, the Laraka variant, the more rare variant of Darth Vader 3 is so wantable. First appearance of Dr. Aphra and her droids, pretty much. $1,800 saw one of these sell for, and I think that's an all-time record, possibly. Pretty sure it was an all-time record for the Star Wars one as well. So just a lot of these Star Wars books, pretty wantable, but do you want to get in there at all-time highs? It's pretty tough on some of them. If you're like me and missed quite a few of them, I would say. This is the one to want, though. Darth Vader 3, the Laraka variant. There's only one variant for Darth Vader 3. It's this one, and the cover is great. Now they're about 1,800. Definitely wish I got in there when they were like 820 or whatever it was, about 6 months ago. All right, next one, Ultmate Fallout #4 in the CGC 9.8. Yeah, and with the stimulus checks hitting, the market and people got a little bit extra money in their pockets, you are kind of seeing some big key issues maybe perk up in price, and I think certainly the Star Wars books are susceptible to that. We've gone over some already, but Ultimate Fallout 4 is perking up, I think, because for a while it was about 900 to 1,000. Now, saw one in an auction. This one in the auction had a new Miles Morales case, though, from CGC, but a CGC 9.8 white page is still the same book. 1,420, that one went in an auction. Saw another one sell for $1,250. I think that was about a week or two ago. And then another one, $1,499.95. So $1,500, we'll call it. And that's pushing around basically the all-time record highs that this one hit really briefly there when kind of Miles fever hit last year. This one's kind of heating up to those type of prices again. $1,420. With that new Miles case, this one was looking kind of cool. That new Miles case I haven't saw much of yet. So that's going to be the top end of a range that I would aim for if you wanted an Ultimate Fallout #4 first print, $1,420. Hopefully you get it like $1,300. Like, be patient here. Maybe wait till some of these stimulus checks you know, flow through here. It's a bit of a seller's market, my feeling right now. Next book though, kind of a deal, I think, possibly. Seeing a few Amazing Spider-Man number 316s in the CGC 9.8 sell. One was for $624.95, and another was for $659.99. I like to be pretty picky on centering for this book as well, and both of them had pretty nice centering, like good examples of this book for $624.95, given that like we just covered all these Star Wars books, and I know they're pretty rare and they're the Dark Horse ones, and like that's great, but to get this classic for like a lot less money for $624.95, I think is a great price. $659.99, another one going for. Is looking like value, just certainly after just going over all those Star Wars books. But cool to see some Amazing Spider-Man 316s. You know, this one was, many had went over 700, and it really heated up there. This one's already come a long way, but with Venom 2, you'd expect that to coming out. But, you know, maybe on a bit of a pullback here, right around $600 before Venom 2 comes out, I think is a decent price right now for Amazing Spider-Man 316, CGC 9.8. So Wolverine 66 I had saw sell. This is the first Old Man Logan Wolverine 66 from 2008. Interesting on this one because you get the full range and a good idea of just, sometimes I'm like, you know, be patient, wait for an auction, be on top of your searches, and then you'll get a better deal. Well, good example. I saw one of these sell for $149.99, and then I think it was like the same day or maybe even a day earlier, one in an auction went for $66. So, you know, sometimes on a book that doesn't really have any promotion, like First Old Man Logan right now is not a really hot book, I would say. You wait for those in an auction, maybe you get it for like a great deal, like $66, and those are, you know, some of the great deals that you can get in 9.8 comic books. But if you want it now, you know, people will pay up to $150 for a pretty cool book, First Old Man Logan. So it just gives you a good idea of the range that some of these 9.8 sell for, and you can get deals if you're patient. Okay, next one's a cool one, Devil Dinosaur number 1 in the CGC 9.8. Yeah, this is one from the 70s that is actually really affordable and wantable. I love the cover too, just really colorful cover. I don't even really remember this book from, you know, my childhood or anything. It's one I've come to love actually. And I do like dinosaurs, to be honest, but $279.99 saw one of these sell for, and this is another one, like if you're patient and wait in an auction, like I've saw them go for kind of $215, $210. I believe one maybe even went under 200, but maybe that wouldn't have the best centering, but decent ones go for like $210, $220, $279.99, you know, not a bad, it was looking pretty good, a nice newsstand, crisp looking one in a new case, CGC 9.8, but maybe aim closer to $200 for a Devil Dinosaur number 1, cool one though. X-Men number 4, First Omega Red in the CGC 9.8, a couple of these selling in auctions, both in auctions, $178.50 and $208.50. This is one that used to be kind of like 100 or 120 before, like I think Omega Red's gonna be in like a Winter Soldier Falcon show or movie or something like that. I forget the exact thing, but this one's heating up a lot. It's an early 90s 9.8. I probably wouldn't really get in there right now on this one. If you did, closer to 175, I think, for an X-Men number 4 in the direct edition 9.8. Decent one though, if you're into the cover. I saw an Invincible Iron Man number 7, the variant cover sell. This is a Riri Williams cameo in this one, and it's like the women power variant. I think Mary Jane's on the cover, and saw it sell in an auction too, because a lot of times you see just people like asking super expensive prices for this one. $460.55. So that's probably the fair price if you want this one. And you know, Riri, she's hot right now. A lot of her first appearances, and number 9. The sort of first print and the variant of that one, the variant's really expensive, and you know, they're really wanted. And you know, this is going to be a tough one because I could see if she's in a bunch of MCU stuff for the next 10 years, like this book will stay hot and wanted, and it's going to be a good one to have. But you know, maybe they've heated up a lot, and you know, it's if you want it though, this Iron Man number 7 variant in the CGC 9.8, the women's power one for $460.55 is probably about a price to aim for. That's not too expensive from what I've saw. Interesting one here from kind of the sort of late Bronze Age, I think, on this one. Amazing Spider-Man 259. This one's the origin of Mary Jane, and it's a, you know, a cool one, kind of from a bit of like the lost black costume era of comics. You don't think there's too many keys during this time, but Origin of Mary Jane's kind of cool, decent cover as well. And saw on in an auction, one sold for $119.50. Yeah, that's a good example of just a great deal. I think this was looking pretty good too. I think it was in an old case, but the actual book itself, you could just tell, looked really crisp with a decent centering. And to get the Origin of Mary Jane in the 9.8 white pages for $119.50, I think is a great buy and one to consider if you're into that era. Another one here from the 80s, Thor number 337 in the newsstand. I saw one of these sell in an auction too, which is, you know, good to see. This is kind of the cold one that I think this is a pretty good price for the newsstand version. It was looking pretty good, like good colors in a nice new CGC 9.8 white pages case. $710 it sold for. So yeah, right around $700 for the newsstand version of this one, I think is a decent price if it's just looking great. And that's a, you know, big key there. First beta ray bill. Okay, next 90s one that I saw, a 1990s book, was a cool one at a good price. Thunderbolts number 1. You really hear a lot of speculation about Thunderbolts, and yeah, the first appearance was, Hulk, oh geez, what is it, 4 or something? I'm forgetting. Hulk 447, is it? Is the first Thunderbolts appearance, but this is kind of their first solo series, so a decent one to pick up, I think, right around $100. And I did see an auction go for $100 in one of these, even for CGC 9.8 white pages, looking pretty good. A cool 90s book that I remember, and if Thunderbolts ever get picked up in a show or movie, this one at $100 will be a pretty good deal, I think. Next one, Amazing Spider-Man 299. Yeah, CGC 9.8 white pages. I mentioned this one on the video we did, that there was an auction on eBay, like if you're interested. And that auction had ended at $569.69. $569.69 for Amazing Spider-Man 299 CGC 9.8 white pages. That's a pretty good deal, and especially considering when a lot of these Star Wars books are over $1,000, like first cameo Venom in the perfect grade for $569.69 in an auction, I think is a pretty savvy buy. And it was on an undervalued video I did, so I do think kind of, yeah, first cameo Venom is kind of undervalued right now, even though the cover's a bit underwhelming, I think. Next one was really cool to see, and definitely an under the radar issue, key issue for sure, of a villain. Captain America number 219. This is the first appearance of Mother Superior, with a pretty cool cover, I gotta say too. And yeah, this is a pretty great era to get CGC 9.8s in, sort of I'm pretty sure it's early 80s on, yeah, 1984, I'm pretty sure. But this one went in an auction with this kind of, you know, tough black cover, I think. I didn't look on the census for these ones, but I'd imagine this one's pretty tough. For first appearance of a villain, $250.50. Yeah, I think that's a pretty decent deal. I bet this one's pretty tough in the CGC 9.8. And yeah, I was hearing, I think the Captain America actor, didn't he like sign on for more Captain America in the MCU kind of thing? So, you know, Mother Superior, that's a... I'm sure they could make her look cool in the MCU, and at $250, this one's a pretty cool 9.8 of the era to consider if you're a Cap fan. Amazing Spider-Man, next one, 344. Amazing Spider-Man 344. First appearance of Cletus Cassidy. I don't follow this one too much. I just really kind of default to 361. Yeah, first full appearance of Carnage. Great cover on that one. But first, Cletus Cassidy is probably heating up, moving into the Venom 2 movie. Saw one sell in an auction for $256.59. Yeah, that's definitely heating up. And yeah, you know, a year ago, this book was like, you know, $150, $160 kind of thing. So Venom 2 is coming up with Carnage in it. You know, this one was an auction, $256.59. You know, I'd probably even aim for closer to $200 on this still. I think in a lull, there's quite a few of these out there. Hopefully like a $200 to $225 for Amazing Spider-Man 344 CGC 9.8. Next one is a Young Avengers number 1 in the 9.8 I saw sell. This is a really popular modern. Lots of rumors and, you know, that something's going to happen with the Young Avengers, whether it's like a show or a movie, I'm not too sure. But one in an auction going for $405. And yeah, this one increased in value, I would say, sort of 4 to 6 months ago. Quite, you know, had a good spike up. And it was about... a year ago, this one was kind of $250 for a lot. I remember a lot of them just selling around $250. It was a cool modern to get in that sort of price range. But now about $405, not a bad one if, you know, you think Young Avengers has a future. And if we look at the last one here, it's Kanan and the Last Padawan, #1. Just saw one in the first print sell in an auction too, which good idea of kind of the current price. Although Star Wars books are pretty hot right now, so you probably, just in general on all these Star Wars books, I think you want to be patient a little bit. $297 though in an auction. This is the first appearance of Sabine Wren and Ezra Bridger, and a lot of rumors about how they could really fit into The Mandalorian, or who knows, maybe even have their own show kind of thing. This one heated back up. Yeah, I purchased mine about 3 to 4 months ago, and there seemed to be quite a lot coming on the market in the 9.8 on eBay at that time. It was like that perfect time where a book gets hot, a ton of people send raws to CGC, and then like a month or two later, a bunch pop up on eBay in the 9.8, and I grabbed mine for $172 it was, or something like that. 170 something. So one going in auction for $297 just shows kind of how the Star Wars speculation, I think, is heating back up quite a bit. Okay, that was quick. Yeah, 22, I think, 9.8s we got through there with the prices. I will have a list in the description below with all the prices, but yeah, some records, it's I still think a pretty healthy market though. Yeah, there's some records, but it's kind of obvious that Star Wars will probably have some records right now, with Mandalorian being like the hottest thing out there, and there's certainly a few other hot books as well. But Amazing Spider-Man 316 for around $600. A couple of those sold, or $600 to $650. I think that's a decent deal. Still some deals to be had, I think, on some cold books with potential. But if we conclude up though, it's a hot market, it's a healthy market. But in overall though, I would say it still is a bit of a seller's market. If you got to sell something, or if you maybe want to sell something, it's probably a decent time to do that. Especially, the Star Wars here for 4,500 and something, just paying for mine like $925 it was a year and a half ago. That's kind of tempting to just, pocket the almost $5,000 and maybe sell some things, but I won't be selling, I don't think. But if you're maybe a little more not as long term as me, and you might want to sell, it's a bit of a seller's market right now, I think. Okay, we'll conclude up there. Thanks so much for watching. Yeah, always love these market update videos. Yeah, get some more prices, and more information, and more prices is the best way pretty much to just get on top of what the comic book market's doing in the 9.8s for sure, is what we specialize here. So if you haven't already though, I would invite you to join the team and subscribe to Team CGC 9.8. Yeah, I'd love to have you on our comic book collecting and comic book investing team. Hit the bell for all the latest notifications. Add me on Instagram and Twitter too. All the links in the description below. But thanks so much for watching. Really appreciate all the support from the team. And I'll see you on the next one.